Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast. All right, Sparky Coach Pod here with a special guest all the way across the Nullarbor. Is that correct? Nullarbor?
Nullarbor, is it? I don't know. You're in Sydney. I'm in Perth, so all the way across the country.
Well, I'm in Byron. So how far are we away? Probably a 30-hour drive or something, something like that. So
yeah,
Brandon Willington from WhereU, and what else are you running these days?
Well, I'm a co-founder at Industry Set, but I wouldn't want to take any credit for that. Jackson very much runs the day-to-day and is responsible for all the student results, but I manage the ads and stuff like that. I'm more of a, I wouldn't say silent, but I'm definitely much more behind the scenes in that one.
Yeah, cool. And congratulations are a little bit in order. I was frothing to talk to you because you just won the Young Entrepreneur of the Year in the digital marketing space. Is that what I saw?
Yeah. Just won, what day is it? It's Monday. I won that Saturday night. My award's in that cabinet over there somewhere. So that was great. Yeah, I'm very grateful. It was, because I was actually a finalist in 2022 or 2023. I can't remember. Time flies. And I don't know why I was a finalist back then. Like, I hadn't achieved very much. I don't know. But I didn't win then. But I was a finalist again now, and they made some comments about like how much WhereU had grown. So I think that was a big contributing factor.
That's so huge. What does an award like that do for you or do for your company? Is it something?
My cost per lead's on half the last 24 hours. So there's that. I was like, because I got, you should get one, by the way. Do you have a DJI Osmo?
I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
So, bro, it's a little fucking camera. I gave away 5 of them at our annual member meetup in Sydney. It's like a little handheld camera. It can fit in your pocket. And it's got like a little bit of, not a fisheye, but definitely like a wide lens so you can film stuff. It's super portable. It can sync to your phone and stuff. Records really good. Check it out. It's only like $1,200. You get a little microphone. And we filmed. I had a good feeling that I don't want to sound cocky, but I had a good feeling that I would win. And so we put the little Osmo on the table when it was getting announced, and we got my reaction, and then like we got the speech and stuff like that. And then the first thing in the morning, I'm like, I'm turning this into an ad, obviously. So the CTR's through the roof, the conversion rate's through the roof. I'm like, that's ripping. But obviously, there's credibility to it as well. The other part of your question was like, what does that do for the business? Like, there's credibility to it as well. Like, understandably, people are naturally very skeptical of me, and I totally understand. Like, I get put into the like internet marketing, online business guru kind of space, and a lot of people's first impression of me, and often only impressions of me, are me just like swearing at them on Instagram and emotionally triggering them. But I know it to be true that if people watch like podcasts like this, or watch my long form YouTube content, or just like meet me in person, like I'm a nice guy, like I mean everyone well, but awards and stuff like that certainly adds like credibility. So like, all right, maybe this guy's not bullshit after all.
Yeah, I feel the same with like us we get lumped into the coach world, and I can't stand the coaching world.
Yes, so do I.
Only because I feel like there's a lack of authenticity.
Absolutely.
Of it, and I feel like our program's incredibly authentic. And now, if I resonated with your ad, I feel like I got a real good read on people. And I saw your ad, and I saw it multiple times actually originally. So we have done your course, and I couldn't speak highly enough about it. And I think anyone that does your course says the same thing. I put multiple people onto it. I showed someone the other day. They were sort of struggling. They'd done their organic pathway, and they really needed to step into some paid ads. And I showed them, and they're like, I've seen this guy swearing at me heaps. And I'm like, yeah, that's Brandon. He's a legend. So it's, and I just love it. So I'm big fan. So you reckon the cost per lead's gone down? Is that just because good enough for someone else, good enough for me? Do you reckon it's a bit of social recognition?
It's certainly a lot of social proof. It's funny, it doesn't matter like what I do. There's always a segment of the audience that's just going to disagree with me regardless of what I say. For example, I don't know if you saw, but someone made a post in our school communities. I don't know if you saw it or not, but at the end of the workshop, I say thank you to everyone, and everyone leaves. And depending on the layout of the room, like a lot of people will just go out of their way to walk past me, shake my hand, say thank you before they leave. We just had the camera kept rolling, and 40 people in a row came up and said a genuine thank you, really heartfelt thank you. And I just uploaded that as an ad. And the comments section was like, oh, they're all friends and family, they're all shareholders in the company. I'm like, what? We all have 1.75% equity each. So that was the joke when I won. I posted a win in school. And Isaac's like, can't wait to see what the haters have to say about this one. I'm like, man, I had to give away so much fucking equity to stage this award.
Yeah. So wait, am I getting paid for this? Is that what you're saying? Am I getting equity? Right?
Yeah, I'm just giving my 0.5 equity in every PR appearance that I have.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Because I had an electrical business for 13 years, coming to the coaching world. I feel like I passed so many people so much work, and there was never money exchanged or beers or kombuchas or anything. And I feel like there's a real authenticity, working class sort of culture in the trades, and I love that. But coming into the backhander world was really foreign to me, and we don't take anything that I don't agree with, or we don't really get much anyway. It's not really why we started the whole thing. So yeah, it's interesting. But how do you deal with? It was one of my things I wrote down to talk to you about. You would cop a fair bit of negative criticism. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I actually get asked this quite a bit. I think I got pretty tough skin going through nightlife. In nightlife, at least when I went through it anyway, to be fair, it was mostly me starting the fights. It's very competitive, and you're dealing with 18 to 24-year-olds that have been growing up arguing on the internet. And so I kind of it's kind of what's that speech Bane gives out of Batman? It's I'm arguing with people that had to adopt rage baiting on the internet. I was born in rage baiting. It's all I've done since I was a child. All I've done on the internet since I was 17 years old is argue with people. You merely adopted arguing on the internet. I haven't had a civil conversation on the internet since I was a fucking child. And it's all I've done is just rage bait people. What I used to do was just, man, it was kind of fucked. I don't recommend anyone does this. I would just check the comments of my ads first thing in the morning and just roll the dice on my fucking mood that day. Hey, I don't recommend it. It was either really, really positive or really, really negative. But one of my friends, Quincy, he got asked the same question and he deferred to an answer which I gave him, which I think is good, which is, so I've always spoken about normally distributed bell curves, right? I'm very autistic, so I like doing everything in numbers and statistics. So let's say you have out of every 100 people, one person's going to really, really dislike you. Well, if you advertise to 1.1 million people over the course of a year, that 1% just becomes more and more noticeable. And so it's just, you're just going to get it. It's kind of just a statistical given. And if you get up in your head about the emotions of it, you can kind of pull yourself back down to earth going, well, it's just 1 out of 100. And typically speaking, because there is a negativity bias in the brain, if you study human psychology, the negative, if someone has something negative to say, they're more likely to say it than if they have something positive to say. And so typically what the behavior looks like online is if someone really, really likes you, they probably just like it and then move on. But if someone's negative, their only option is to leave a mean comment. They don't have dislikes on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. So you just have a really, really vocal minority. But I've never had a negative interaction in real life ever. It's all been really, really positive. Often in airports, I think this is a higher, again, statistics, I think there's a higher density of business owners in airports. So I have a lot of really positive interactions with people who say, hey man, I really love your ads. I'll shake their hand, have a short chat with them if we have time. But it's funny because I also know, statistically speaking, someone that's commented shit on my ads has definitely seen me in real life, and they didn't fucking say anything.
Yeah, that really interests me. I feel this is my external take on you. I feel like if I was to rubbish you personally, like, oh, the way you're waving those nunchucks with a massive kook, you would laugh that off, like thick
Yeah,
skin in that sense. But I
yeah.
feel like anyone that has a go at your product,
Mm.
you will retaliate
Oh,
for it.
100%.
And I've noticed that, and I like that because I
Yeah.
feel like anyone that's used your product would stand up for it. And
Yeah.
I even feel like commenting, no, we use this and this is awesome. Like, what are these
Yeah.
people doing? So, and then I liked, I think you're setting up for your team, your people, you know, what
Mm.
you believe in. And
Mm.
what do you reckon? I want to get into growth because I know you've had a fair bit of growth, and this might
Mm.
lead into it. I want your take on this because I think, and this is my maybe hate of the coaching industry where
Mm.
everyone wants to grow quickly or they preach
Mm.
growth, but the foundations are incorrect.
Yeah.
Like, so when I say foundations, it's not like a system, it's a product. The foundational
Mm.
product is not worth building a 10-story block of units on,
Mm.
because you're not going to get the retention, you're not going to get the
Yeah.
word of mouth referrals. People are going to use it. When you advertise too early, people will use it, and then they'll be like, actually, that sucked. And they'll tell 100 of their friends.
It sucks,
So
yeah.
talk to us about the product
Mm.
because, you know, what would look like fast growth
Mm.
flash for the last 6 to 12 months for WhereU and your incredible team is actually, you know, years of another business, years of in the trenches, years of personal development, years of coaching, years of
Mm.
like fleshing out. And I know I'm sort of like leading your question here, but talk
Yeah.
to us about the product.
Mm.
When did you know you're on a bit of a heater?
Yeah.
How much development did go into it? Is it the net sum of like everything you've done? Yeah, just roll where your head's
Yeah,
at.
it's so crazy. I was thinking about this a lot last week because I gave one of the most requested calls in the group last week was, and I hate this word too, you might hate it as well, just like mindset, because it's one of those like you buy like an online course for $997 and the whole first week is mindset. It's like, what the fuck, man? But it was really requested topic, and one of the things that I talked about was the fuel source. And I said, like, I hope this doesn't just sound preachy, but like I feel like my entire life teed me up for this. Like when I actually think about all of my major life events, all of my mentors, all the people that got me to where I am, it's actually kind of crazy how literally every single major experience I've had in my life has like led me to be here. So like I used to be a DJ and I was really funny in the microphone and I was really good at controlling crowds. With you was a workshop like 80 people and you can argue there's bits where it's like kind of performative, right? Like I've always had a massive obsession with education. It's an education product. I've always had a magic for coaching. It's a coaching product. It's like every single fucking thing. Like arguing on the internet in nightlife. Like arguing with my competitors online. Like literally everything like teed me up to be here. And so it's on a more like I started at a macro level, like a spiritual sense. Spiritually, I feel like my entire life led me here. On a more macro, micro, tactical level, certainly the product evolves over time. Have you read Principles by Ray Dalio? Did I speak about this book in the last podcast?
I was just
Maybe.
thinking about the books you spoke about. I don't think you mentioned that one. No.
Yeah, it talks about like feedback loops. I can't remember exactly how he articulates it in the book, but essentially your goal should be to like try something, test something, and then it'll kind of dip a little bit, and then you'll course correct, and then it's basically like this loop. Hopefully, if someone's like watching this on YouTube, they can see this loop that I'm making where it kind of goes down, up, down, up, down, and the goal is to tighten those loops as much as possible. And so when WhereU was really starting its growth, we had a meeting every single Monday afternoon about what do we change now? Like, because originally the workshops were like 12 people in a room. And then we're like, okay, well, we can't help the number of people we want to help if we just keep doing 12 people in a room. So we had this crazy conversation about, all right, what if we went to 30 people? Like, what changes then? And then we're like, all right, well, that was fine. 60 people? We're like, all right, what changes now? I was like, all right, this did better. Like, 80 people, that did better too. And so you had to constantly think like, okay, if we do push it, like what has to change? Like I had a conversation, actually literally just before this call with my executive assistant. Like, hey, if we want to help 160 people in a room, what happens? We actually came up with a fucking better way than we're doing it now, 80. Like, me and Tim were talking about it at the airport. He goes, hey, I think I figured out how to do 160 people in a room. And we ran through it. I was like, that's actually literally a better experience than we do now. And so one of the things that's been helpful is like I've been doing them for a while. I call them like ridiculous thought experiments, which is like, all right, if we could wave a magic wand and we have to do this outrageous number, like what has to change with our like given resources? I read a book recently which kind of re-articulates this point too. 10x is easier than 2x. Have you heard of it?
No.
Great book, really recommend it. Basically the same point, which is like, if you plan for like a 2x growth, you'll hit a 2x growth. But if you plan for a 10x growth, then like 5 becomes fucking easy. And so it's about like, all right, if we had to set this ridiculous target, like just a crazy idea, if we had to hit this ridiculous target, like what has to change? It's often not that fucking difficult either. You just kind of self-impose these limiting beliefs.
I was thinking about this morning, right? So the limiting beliefs kind of for me is like your mindset comment.
Yeah.
I was just annoyed by it. I'm like, and then I thought about it. I'm like, can someone actually operate a business outside of their limiting beliefs? And potentially the answer is no, because you sort of got this ceiling or walls, or you're in a room trapped. And that's the importance for me. I'm going sideways here, but of group coaching. I sat in Pilates this morning, my regular 6 a.m. to 6:45 Pilates. Just me and the mums. But like, I was freshly encouraged of there was a girl next to me, just like there's no way I could have pushed myself as hard as the teacher and the girl next to me pushed me. There's no physical way I was humanly possible of doing that to my body. But the fact that they were doing it, I was like, I can do that too. So I think like power in numbers of group coaching combined with a one-on-one is absolutely huge. But dialing like back a little bit, because obviously this is the 10x and the 2x is all good to say, but you're on a heater with your product. So at what point, because like, 10x of poo is just you got 10 times more poo than before. You've got 10x of something. So at what point did you realize it was you're on a heater, you can scale this, because I feel like for you and for me, even me and Sparky Coach, we're like, I use the term behind loosely because I don't like comparison, but we're behind on revenue, I guess you would say, than you. But I feel like we're on the same trajectory in terms of pathway. Our product is amazing. We're on a heater. We just got to sort of set and forget this thing a little bit, like in the nicest way possible. But like, when did you realize that point?
It was when we started getting testimonials for like every single objection we got in a sales call. So one of the objections we'd always get, and you probably get it all the time, is like, I've got to talk to my partner. And then Mel, so there's Chris Melbourne and his partner, Mel. Chris, who still goes to war in the comments of her ads defending us. He's a fucking G. I gave him lifetime support. He wanted to do it. He was really keen, and then had to tell Mel, and Mel was like, no, you're not doing it. And then Mel got to the call with Tim and then enrolled. And then she left us a video testimony at the end of the workshop that literally said, I was the partner objection that said, don't do this. And now I think it's the greatest thing on earth. I'm like, got one of those. And then we used to get objections which were like, oh, I can't wait to a workshop. And then we had one person in a workshop that was like, oh, I just watched a recording and did that. I went, so that we got an objection for that. Like every single objection, and it kind of became this game. And we still do it now, which is like, is there an objection we get in the sales process? We just make it like this game to try and get a testimonial from like someone in that space or someone that already believed that or something like that. And so, like, we didn't have any testimonials in the finance space. And so we just like made it go to get a bunch of testimonials in the finance space, right? We've got a bunch of bangers. Rory McGrath had like lifetime support. He's spent like 30 fucking finance people to us. And so, yeah, that was when we were like, all right, I reckon we're on here, because we didn't just have testimonials that said, yeah, this is good. It was like, yeah, I nearly didn't buy because of this reason, and I'm fucking glad that I did now. And then we just got a bunch of those, and we're like, yeah, we felt like we'd plugged all these holes and beliefs. Because that's essentially what like your sales process is, right? Is the close rate is essentially just a representation of how many people believe in the price that you're asking for and the value that they'll receive from it. And so you just increase it by just like plugging these beliefs and go, yep, you can get results before you come to a workshop. Yep, it works for your industry. Yep, your partner's going to agree with it. Yep, and we just started like plugging all these holes, and the close rate was just going up.
That's so huge. I think I'm just able to articulate now that when you're onto a heater foundations, you can apply a formula based, essentially spend this, get this, or employ this person, get that.
Yeah.
But you're faultless on a big foundation. And that's the flip, right? Of setting the business foundations first. It's like infrastructure, then grow. When I think traditional coaching preaches formula before foundation. And I don't think it's actually, I think it lands a lot of people in this sort of in-between world where the formula's right. And people might be coming through the door, but they're not staying. It's like a revolving door, or people are like, oh, what's this? Oh, this kind of sucks. And then you're like, do I even believe in this? So yeah. Any thoughts?
Well, that was like our goal, 2024, like a kind of unwritten goal of Tim. It was Tim that enrolled you, wasn't it? Yeah. So like Tim and I were like, let's just. I think at the start of last year, it was like 3.9K. It's like 5.4 now. But the goal was like, let's get some volume in, get our reps in, like figure out how to do better workshops, figure out how to do better advisory calls, figure out how to do better support. Then we started stacking up all these objections. And then when we gassed it, we had those solid foundations where we're like, all right, we've gotten some people through now. Like, we know that this works. We can prove that it works. And then also, we just had like more conviction in the offer as well.
Yeah, so once you see the results, and this is the cool, this is like a business growth chat, right? Like, how do you grow? What was the go with, you said you had 12 in the room, then whatever, 24, then 36. I don't know if you went up in multiples of 12 with your math brain, but like, it's like, no, it has to be 12. But what was the factor of limiting it to 12 just for the product experience? Was that like, we'll keep it low because of product?
I reckon, honestly, it was just like a limiting belief that I had. I was just like, I don't think we could do more than 12. And then, like, one of my mentors is Jeremy Haynes, and I was like, man, I don't think we can do more than 40. Like, I think people will start to complain. And he's like, well, have people complained at 30? I'm like, no. He goes, all right, so you just made up a story in your head and agreed with it. I was like, oh yeah. And then, like, as we've actually done, we've gotten better results as we've had more people. So now I'm like, all right, that's just not a fucking excuse anymore. Like, certainly you need to make sure that, like, you can't have like 160 people in a room and one presenter, right? You need to have, like, we know the ratio of like staff we need in the room to members. But then the solution's like, all right, we'll just have more staff in the room. Like, bigger screens. Like, you can solve all of these issues. Otherwise, you just go, oh yeah, we just can't do more than 12 people. It's like, we can. You can. Like, you physically can. It kind of it sounds cheesy and very entrepreneurial, cliche, but like the whole first principles thing, which is like, if we really wanted to, if we thought about it, we could do 10,000 people fucking at once. There'd be a way to do it. I always laugh with the team because I wanted like, what's the goal? I said global domination, and they're like, so are we doing like international stuff? I'm like, sorry, did I fucking stutter when I said global domination or something like that? What the fuck do I need? Am I not careful with my words? Dude, get me a Starlink fucking connection and send me in the middle of the Sahara Desert. I'll fucking run a workshop for anyone who wants to meet there. I'll send you the GPS coordinates.
That's like Dr. Evil for like $1 million. And on that, Mark, you're hitting some of your biggest months ever. Yeah. I want to ask a couple of questions about that.
Yeah, sure.
What's your advice to people growing a business? Now, obviously, electrical world, selling labor materials in a product sense. I think revenue is actually quite a clear indicator in a coaching or education space because it's you can pretty much guarantee there's a percent of that, where electricians and aircon, solar, you sort of going off. You're selling a subjective product, so revenue is a huge indicator. Where it might not be the best indicator in trade world. It might just be. I just put up something this morning saying revenue does not guarantee profit or happiness in the trade world. It does really in a lot of other spaces, but not
very true.
Yeah. So, but it's not the happiness part either. So, what's your advice like? I don't know how you want to take this question, but at the growth stage, you're obviously throwing risk everywhere.
Yeah.
The foundation's good, but it's I calculated risk because you got in an unforeseen territory. I guess what's your advice? Maybe the best way to put it is, what's your advice to someone in a growth stage, or what's your advice to yourself 5 years ago? I don't know how you want to take the question.
Yeah, I would make decisions based off of math and not feelings. I would have repeated this to you like many, many times during the Sydney workshop that you went to in, was it June?
Yeah, June. Yeah.
Um, doing decisions based off of math, not feelings. Oh, I'll give you a perfect example actually. So I'm pretty transparent with like all of our numbers. I hope it doesn't come off like flexing, but we hit so October of 2024 with you did 29K. October this year did $1,021,000. So we essentially 40x'd in 12 months. And in October, the sales team just came out of the gate swinging. Like show rates were really high, close rates were really high. And Tim and I were Tim messaged me. He goes, "Hey, our run rate for this month so far is 950K." So the run rate for the month was 950K. So I hopped on the phone with Tim and I was like, "Dude, like, do you want to just gas it and we can probably cross a mil for like the first time? And then we can also say we went from 29K to a mil in 12 months." And then we like looked at it, we were like, well, the sales team's like kind of tired. And I was like, well, we looked at November, there were like only 19 working days or something like that. But there were 22 working days in October. So I'm like, well, we got 3 extra working days. Like those extra working days are like 120 grand. And so and then I was like, well, should I add myself to the calendar and I'll take some calls? And I looked at my calendar and I'm like, you're not going to be able to take enough calls to cross this. Like, I want to do at least like not close to 1 mil. Like, we had to go pretty significantly past it, just like as an insurance policy. So I was like, all right, I'll do a webinar. Now, webinars, like a free webinar where you present some content, then you do a pitch. And so there were a couple of things that made this very, very risky. It was a stressful week for me. So I was like, all right, I want to do 200K off a webinar, just as a fucking insurance policy to make sure we don't just like hit a mil, we go way past it. I was like, dude, I'll fucking break even on this thing. I don't give a fuck. And so I did the math based off of my webinars earlier in the year where I spent like, I don't know, baby money, like 25K. And so I launched, we had like a week until we had to do the webinar because I needed a week to onboard people and then a week to run the ads. And so I had to spend 50K in a week. And because I launched it, what's that, Hound? Calculator. 50,000 divided by 7. I launched at $7,100 a day in spend. So my cost per lead was just through the fucking roof from the get-go. It was 3 times higher than it was at the start of the year. So I'm like, fuck! I'm like trying to scramble to like split testing landing pages and headlines. And then the other thing, because we didn't have time, I launched with old ads. I was like, so if you watch the videos, if you watch them for too long, I set the March date. And I just made the copy say October. And they still got leads. People were like, Tim was sending me comments saying, people are commenting saying the date's wrong. I'm like, I don't fucking care. It's my cheapest performing ad right now. Just run it. And then I filmed like 17 ads in 17 minutes, sent them to Aiden, my videographer. I'm like, dude, I'll pay you double if you get it to me by lunchtime today. Got them up. And then I couldn't get my cost per lead down. So it's 3 times higher. And so I'm doing the math. I'm like, you're only going to get a 2x return on ad spend here. If you get 2x on 50K spend, you're only going to do 100. So I went, well, I wanted to do 200K. So I spent 100 grand in the space of a week. It was fucking tense. And then like Zoom webinars, I don't know if you've done one before, but like, so basically the way it works is you teach a bit of content and then you do the call to action. Typically with webinars, what you do is rather than going straight for a transaction, you try to get them to book a call. And I was like, dude, if we do book calls, we're not going to be able to close those deals in the time remaining. You had to go straight for the juggler. You had to go for a deposit. Never done it before in my fucking life. And so we had, dude, I think the webinar was on Wednesday. Every single meeting I had on Monday and Tuesday was with just all of my coaches. I had a fucking sports psychologist trying to calm me down. I had my voice coach running through this. I had my sales coach working on the pitch with me. Like everyone, like, dude, I talked to my fucking personal trainer about it in the morning, the afternoon when we were trainers. All I fucking talked about. So I made it wasn't 100 grand. It was a $95,000 bet. And then did the pitch. It went well, but and exactly what happened, I said happened. 2x, or a little bit more than 2. We did 215K off the back of it. But the key point there was that's just a long story to say. Like, do the math. Like, all I did was, fuck, this isn't going well. I need to hit 200K. I'm only going to get 100K. So I put everything into a spreadsheet. I'm like, all right, well, I'd rather get 200 than 250. So I just put my bowls on the table.
Red or black?
Just so bro, the Wi-Fi could have gone out. I could have lost all of it. I get a gambler's rush from webinars. It's kind of sick, but like,
It's
it was
so
just doing the
because it's formula based, and this is the inherent nature of running a business. You're on like a formula. If you look at collectively over the year's revenue, so to speak, you've got you can go went from X to Y, and that Y can be 10x, 100x, 5x, 2x, whatever.
Yeah.
But you're talking about you take it, and this is the interesting thing about motivating people. And it's very hard to motivate people. If you're listening to this and you have to motivate your staff members, you've hired the wrong staff members. It's possibly as simple as saying that. But you've looked at everyone going, okay, everyone's tired. It's been a big month. It's been probably been a big year. People have traveled around more than they did last year. So your new motivation comes from, not like CTRs or CTAs or whatever. Like it's coming from $1 million a month at that point. So you kind of channeling psyche as well as that.
The sales team got around it as well.
Well, so you would have taken the dip. I'm not saying they had a dip, but coming to the end of the month, it's like it's a new exciting goal at that point, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Like we were like all about it. Like we were gonna kind of like wind down a little bit. Wind down for us is like it's not really that chill, to be honest. like my sales reps will sell on Christmas morning. They don't give a fuck, truly. Like that is what
I say that. I'm like, if one of our members called me on Christmas, I would take the call. I don't think I don't think that's a bad thing. No. Yeah. And it's not like they all had my personal number. I actually wouldn't care because they would respect my time enough. And if they called, I'd be like, this is actually really serious.
Probably important, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
When we set the goal, like the sales reps are like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like they opened up their calendars more. Like everyone was fucking on it. We ended at a 66% close rate for everyone.
And what I mean, to give context, what is a normal close rate?
For us or for the industry?
Like for you guys. Yeah.
For us, it's usually like a flip of a coin. It's about 45%.
Cool. So this is like a higher than usual. So you've gone full circle on webinars. They're died, been resuscitated, come back to life, got some process.
Yeah. I speak about this a little bit in the workshop sometimes when people ask, because marketing kind of comes and goes like fashion cycles. Right, so you could recall back in 2017, 2018, everyone just got ClickFunnels, right? And they're doing the perfect webinar pitch. And then webinars got really, really overused. People got sick of them. And so lead magnets came in because there was more instantaneous consumption. And then lead magnets went out and then cold funnels came back in because it's like, I'm not consuming the information. Just give me the fucking pitch and the price and shit like that. And now webinars are starting to come back in again. I suspect it's because we're in like a post-COVID world. And when skepticism levels are also incredibly higher than they've ever fucking been before. They want to know, like, who's this person that I'm actually talking to? And so cold funnels get people that are like, more risk tolerant. And webinars are for more skeptical audiences, which I've anecdotally noticed as well.
Yeah, and what's the go with people just leaving their cameras off on that? Do you have a camera on? Or
no, I do larger webinars, so we just have the chat. So, because we'll have 1,000 or 1,100 people register, we'll get about a 30% show rate. So I can't have 300 cameras on, or God forbid, fucking one person unmuting themselves. So
yeah, that would be a nightmare. Talking about chicken schnitzel for dinner or something ridiculous.
Yeah. So I just do the chat, and then like every now and then, like on the last one or second last one, I got like one or two trolls, but they get drowned out amongst everyone else.
And what are you? Is there an ideal time? Like how much research you put into the ideal time for a webinar and stuff like that?
I do about 60 minutes, 45 to 60 minutes of content. And then my like pitch and call to action Q&A is like 30 minutes. I've found that to be the sweet spot. Some people do longer. I'm going to move to paid webinars next year because I want to do really, really big ones. Like if I want to enroll 100 people in a day, I need to spend about $500,000.
And so would your paid webinar be like, $200 and then that comes off the purchase price or something like that? Or how would you work?
Yeah, I think that's how I'm going to do it. Like, I'd do like $100 or something like that. Thereabouts, maybe like 95. So it's not a 3-figure price tag. maybe some like one-click upsells in the back end to increase the average order value, and like liquidate as much of the ad spend as I possibly can. And then I think I'll just use that as a discount, which I think is fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, you mentioned before that you opened your calendar up. So to try and get over your hurdle, your new goal of million
Yeah.
month. What does your calendar look like now? We spoke, briefly about this. Yeah, so I guess noise canceling.
Yeah.
So what does your calendar look like? I want this twofold. What does your calendar look like right now? Like how much are you just protective of your time? And what advice would you give yourself 3 to 4 years ago about that? Like I think about it a lot. There's an element of sweat into the business that you've got to put in. So you've kind of got to open your calendar
Yeah.
up for everyone, sort of for the Ravens and just for the market research to finalize.
Yeah.
Once a product is there, and I say that loosely, like it's never there, but I feel like even we're similar to you guys, we're refining, but the foundations are the same. We're getting better. So how protective are you of your time at the moment? Yeah, and what would you say to
Yeah, the last month has been a bit of an outlier because I've been traveling a lot. Like I'm just looking at my calendar now. I did the Perth workshop the start of this month, and then I was in New York from the 12th to the 18th, and then the 18th to the 22nd I was in Sydney. And then this weekend just gone, I was on the Gold Coast, and then I go to Melbourne again on Wednesday, and then I have a live stream next week. So just due to like workshops and a lot of travel, this month has been a little bit tough. So I've been doing a lot more meetings. I haven't been able to, the make a manager schedule kind of thing. A lot of manager stuff. Like it looks like a manager calendar. However, heading into the December kind of break period, I've got actually, I just looked at my calendar for next week. The 8th and the 9th, Monday and Tuesday, is blocked out, and it just says "fuck off." No, I'm not gonna book anything in there. But in the December period, I'll be doing a lot of like, hey, what are the workshops going to look like next year, and kind of trying to detach as much as I can. I'm usually, to answer your question, I'm usually very protective of my time. Like I try to just do meetings on Mondays. However, got to do what you got to do. Like if I've got workshops on or I've got to travel somewhere, that's got to be done. And so I'll push maker stuff down to December.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what you can achieve. There's a sole focus. So if you sit there and you've got your on the business time,
Yeah.
which I'm assuming is your role to develop the product and develop the people and that kind of stuff. Like, will you block out times and tasks? Will you go like 3 hours on this or 40 minutes on this, or just have like an on time day, or what would you do with that?
I usually like to like put into my calendar my to-do list, just thinking about how I've been working the last couple of weeks and months. I used to have to-do lists. Now if something's important, I'll just block it out in my calendar. I try to do Wednesdays is like my creative stuff because Wednesdays everyone works from home, so I kind of have the space to myself. Which I kind of do anyway because I work up here and I work down here. But I try and do my creative stuff like YouTube and ads, anything like that on Wednesdays, and then meeting stuff on like Mondays and Fridays. But Thursdays and Fridays we usually have workshops as well. So
Yeah, so a bit more themed days.
yeah, that's kind of what it is. Mondays very much like let's just stack up meetings here, and then I try my best to keep the other days free.
The overarching comment of because I feel like how long's Where You been running for?
Just over 5 years.
Yeah, I feel like 5 years is this. We're 2.5 down in Sparky Coach. I feel like 5 years is the sweet spot to be like, 5 years. If the foundation's usually set, the reputation's usually set, the clientele's usually, when I say set, I mean they're usually confident in the product. What advice would you have to yourself over the past 5 years? Because there's an element of like. My reflection is this is the second time I've started a business. Third, we've got a new like Sparky admin one launching at the moment. And I feel like I'm learning so much more every single time. That my advice is always like work smarter from the start.
Yeah.
But it's hard, but then you gotta put the sweat in. So what's your take on that?
I've been reading a book recently which is kind of better put my jumbled thoughts into mind. It's called Playing to Win. and one of the chapters is just define what winning looks like. Which is often you kind of just start this business because you just start the business, and it's almost it's akin to when I went to university, and I know this isn't an uncommon thing. I went to university, didn't know what I wanted to study because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I just defaulted to getting a commerce degree, like everyone else. And so sometimes people will start a business with like, well, I just want to start a business because I want to start a business, but you don't start with the end in mind. And so getting clear on like what winning looks like is that profit? Is that selling the business? Like for me, winning is like enrolling as many people as we physically can and running as many advisory calls as we physically can. And then this is also, I don't like how entrepreneurial, cheesy, cliche this is. But have you heard the analogy of like that Steve Jobs uses of like signal versus noise?
Yeah.
It kept coming up to me, and I kept having mentors and coaches tell me about it before it kind of started popping off. The idea started popping off on YouTube. I was like, all right, there's something here. And so when you really think about it, focus isn't doing lots of different things. It's just doing a few things very, very well. Whereas if you have a torch, like if I get my torch on my my phone and flash it, it's like a big beam of light, whereas a laser is incredibly focused on just a one point. And just delete, like literally just fucking deleting everything, or within reason, deleting everything that doesn't get you closer towards the goal. So for example, and maybe this is a bad example, but I was sitting on the couch thinking about this whole signal versus noise thing, and I looked at Instagram on my phone. I was like, I don't think this really has anything to do with growing the business. And I ran all these thought experiments. I'm like, well, I don't get any customers from my personal Instagram because I wasn't promoting it at the time. And then I thought, well, what do you get out of it? I'm like, well, your brain rots when you just doom scroll Instagram reels. I'm like, well, that's not useful. And then I go, is there any utility? I'm like, well, people can message you and you can message them. I'm like, well, I don't message anyone and I don't like it when people message me. So I just deleted it. And we were talking about this just off camera before at the start of this podcast. I was like, dude, I was never more focused in my fucking life. I got so much shit done. I was jamming with ChatGPT about the idea, and it came up with this idea of ego noise, which is, when you really think about it, Instagram is just like your own personal PR campaign, right? It's true. And so I was thinking about, and I am thinking about it now because I've got Instagram again now. I'll talk about how I'm trying to approach it in a moment tactically so it doesn't distract me as much. But you think about, what can I post that will uphold this PR campaign that I want people to think that I'm like? And then you're going to film it, then you're going to edit it, then you're going to post it. And then your brain, you also lose like mental bandwidth because part of your brain is thinking like, what do people think about me? Like, what are they commenting? Like, who's liking it? And you like check the likes. It's kind of sick when you think about it. And then I got so much time. We went from 500,000 a month to 1 mil. Like, it's like all I did was fucking delete Instagram. And then I'll explain why I re-downloaded it, because I spoke to, like, as you know, I have like a lot of coaches and mentors and advisors. There's a lot of people whose instructions I just blindly comply with, and that's why I do well. And I was talking to them about this idea. I'm like, hey, I just like deleted Instagram and I haven't been on it. I don't think I need to have a personal brand. Like, I don't really think this matters. And literally every single one was like, dude, you have this massive opportunity. You're kind of stupid if you don't do it. I was like, okay, well, you all said that. So I re-downloaded it, and my Instagram's been growing pretty significantly. We've also noticed show rates and close rates going up, just because people can see who I started running ads for my personal instead of the business one, so they can see, oh, Brandon's a real guy. This is what he does on a day-to-day basis. We actually just got a fucking burner phone for me. Ashley's got it. We've got to set it up. So this phone is going to turn into my brain rot phone, which will have Instagram on it, and Ashley will hold it. So when we need to post, give it to her. And then I'll have another phone, which is just a new phone number. Only has email and Slack and Signal, which is where my girlfriend and my like key team members talk to me.
Signal. We use Signal for our chat at school, which is.
Oh, really? You guys all drug
like,
dealers or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone says the same thing. Like, why are we on this drug dealing app? So
yeah. Like I'm in Telegram groups for some coaching programs.
Oh, just a group of like noble school parents doing their thing. So and maybe the best way to articulate it, because I feel like with Instagram and with life, even with business, it's more about discipline. It's not shutting there's going to be noise all the time, but can you, yeah, there's things you can do like delete things, but also my encouragement to people is can you script the Instagram? I'll check it at 8:30, midday, and then 4:30, and then that's it, and I'll shut down for the night. And I think everyone would be the incremental effect of a small thing like reading every single night and not scrolling, the incremental effect of that's going to have in your life and business across 12 to 18 months, or even exercising is
massive. Yeah, dude,
huge.
Building this, and then like I've got a full-time trainer. We train like every morning and so I get here at what, 5:30. We'll train from 6 till 7:30. I sit down at this desk, and then I work till 4, and then I turn around and we train again. And then have you checked out the Opal app on your phone?
No.
Check it out. It's really useful. So Opal, you know how on your phone you can set limits on different apps and settings?
Yeah.
The problem with that though is like if it's the start of the day, you've got like a full 1 hour to use up, and so you can still use it. Whereas Opal lets you schedule in blocks. So from like evening until 7:30 a.m. in the morning, I can't open Instagram at all. You can set difficulty levels as well. So easy is like, hey, if you wait 5 seconds, I'll let you take a break for 15 minutes or leave it. Hard is like, you got to fucking unsubscribe from this app and delete it if you want to fucking open Instagram at all. And so that's been really useful because you can schedule blocks in. But yeah, like you said, the discipline thing. Like I mean, maybe it's purely anecdotal, but I have been definitely better at business the more disciplined I've been about fitness. Like especially like I quit drinking and stuff 6 or 7 months ago.
So did I.
Sick. How's it?
Yeah, this is a weird, like, I mean, my whole journey has been quite spiritual. I think sounds similar to your one.
Yeah, sounds similar.
I always felt called to do it. And it's my whole life's been a matter of like, whether you call it like a third eye or God or Jesus or I don't think it matters. It's just like an internally led higher power. Like I genuinely feel like called to be sitting here, and my whole life's been a net sum. To get to this point, it's been like a net sum of additions. I look back and I'm like, oh, that's why I did that apprenticeship. That's why I was a youth pastor. That's why all this thing.
Yeah, it's weird that, isn't it? You look like, oh, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, but I wrote down my goals at the start of the year, and one of them was make the product sick. Like that was one line, and I think we've pretty much done that. Not drinking. It took me a while to come around to that. It's something I felt spiritually led to do, but then the outworking of that, I was feeling like a bit embarrassed about it, and then I was thinking, oh, I don't really have that many beers anyway. And then I'm like, maybe I do have 4 to 10 a week. And I was just saying recently, maybe like 3 months ago, I got sick, and then I just haven't gone back. I had one beer at our live event, and that was more maybe for my insecurity than anything else. And I had it, and I was like, oh, what am I doing? I don't
even like it that much. Is it really that good? Yeah, no, I had a really bad drinking problem because I came from nightlife, and I had some shit happen like start of this year, and so I was drinking like a bottle of tequila 3 or 4 nights a week. Like it was I was a heavy drinker. I used to be proud of this. I'm not now. I used to be sponsored by an anti-hangover product back when I was DJing called Alcovit. I was like their fucking poster boy and everything because my whole DJ brand was just drinking and girls and shit like that. But I'm certainly like, it's funny. It's crazy how well you can do when you don't intentionally, physically, and intellectually handicap yourself with literal flavored poison and sugar.
Yeah. My encouragement to myself was like, if you feel internally led to do something, it was funny how I would follow that in business, but when it came to something like alcohol, I was apprehensive too. And I've been feeling very, very clear, and I've cut, like I was drinking maybe 3 coffees a day, and I've cut that back to 2 at like distinct points.
That's the next thing I've got to cut down on is caffeine. Yeah.
I felt like I was like I was stressed, but not stressed, like peaking. And I was like, oh, I've got to manage this a bit better. So I was probably having like 3 a day, and I'll have 2. And maybe that's the next thing to go. Who knows? But yeah, anyway, I think it's interesting because I've been putting that to a lot of our people. I think the best business owners, there's a deeper call, like a core meaning. And it's when you feel called to do it, you care about the product. When you care about your reputation, personal reputation, and your brand's associated, it's amazing what is on the line. And then I think that's the coolest thing. Make the product sick. continue to develop it, be open and honest. That's one thing I really appreciate about you on the what do you call it, school, on the app that you guys run. Basically, like, hey, we've improved this in the workshop. We realized this wasn't working. So you're always
Yeah.
sort of pivoting. You've refined, what's the word, rehoning the last 10%, which is potentially a game you'll never win. You'll always be rehoning it. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
the hedonic treadmill, but product improvement.
Yeah, but I was just gonna say I appreciate your authenticity, and one thing that I really like about you is that you are yourself. And I think that's the most underrated thing in business. If you know who you are, and your product's good, it's sort of a winning formula. You've got to have fun after that. But what's your final sign off to everyone? Like, if you had one opportunity to sort of like either sum the podcast up or bless the people into their day, week, year, like what would you say?
Yeah, you know, it sounds cheesy, but neuroscience would suggest that the more playful you can be with something, the more easy you'll find it slip into a flow state. And so I've always found business easier and marketing easier and sales easier when I've just been fun and I've just been playful with it. So if you can find ways to make whatever it is that you do, like, I don't know, you're likely a Sparky if you're watching this, or whatever it is that you're trying to do, a little bit more playful, I can pretty much guarantee you'll find it a little bit, no, not a little bit, significantly easier. You'll actually also perform better as well.
Yeah, it's interesting with the playful side because it allows you to take emotion out of a decision and have a bit more fun with it. And it's almost like if I was watching myself do this, what would I encourage myself to do? And into the ups and downs of business, it's kind of as well like, I think if you're playing with electricity, yes, it's life and death. But most things in business sense are not life.
Yeah, it's not do or die.
Yeah, it's not like it's a lot of the things you can stress over they're not really going to matter in 5 years' time. Some things are, don't get me wrong, but the things that aren't, you just can't sweat the small stuff. So thank you so much for hanging out, catching up, and if anyone wants to reach out to you, I'll probably drop something.
Yeah,
I'll see you. They'll see you.
Yeah, just open Instagram, scroll once or twice, you'll see me.
Open Instagram in your set times, and then you might see Brandon. So thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules. Be kind. See you soon.